Hey artists and creators, I'm J-Star, and today I want to show you how I created another assemblage box called Saving Time. I'm really excited about this piece. I think it is just beautiful, and it came together pretty quickly. So let me show you how I did it. Okay, so I'm starting a new assemblage, and I've got another plaque, Harvest Blessings. This one was $2, $2.09 at Goodwill. And I've got some vintage photos, I've got some letters, and I've got more of my bottles. I want to do the same effect that I did before with the faces behind the bottles. And so these bottles are 1¼ by 1½ to where it starts to curve up. So I've cut all the photos down to 1¼ by 1½, and they fit right behind them. I love that, the way it obscures the thing. So the only thing with this is 7 bottles will fit in here, but there's a space. So I've cut some little cardboard spacers, and I'm putting them on the ends, and it's still a little loose, but maybe that's okay. I thought I was gonna have to squeeze in one more thing, but then it'd be, lopsided. Maybe I just won't do that, and we'll just, yeah. Oh, the light went out. Okay, so I'm gonna glue those in, and I wanna line this whole box with these letters. So the sort of idea is it's letters from mothers to sons, or, it's like a mother-son relationship. So I'm going to line the box with the letters, and then I think the outside of the box is going to be this old newspaper, Harper's Weekly from 1884. I think I have just enough, unless I can find another piece of it. I had a bunch of it, but I don't know where it's all gone to. I mean, maybe I used it. So let me start there. I'll line the box first and get us there. Okay, so I have built up the sides. I glued in the little pieces of cardboard, and I just masking taped over them so that when I put the texture paste on the front edge of this, it'll just sort of even that out. Okay, and I've got my matte Mod Podge, and I'm ready to go. Okay, that looks pretty awesome so far. Very excited about that. Okay, so now I want to put in these little black bars. They're actually straws. I just want to make little dividers, and I'm kind of hoping they'll just stick to what they are. I mean, the glue that's already there. I wanted the divider because of this seam here. So I just decided that I could do this. And I may go back and Mod Podge over all of these just to make them a little stronger, but they should fit behind every bottle. Okay, that looks really cool. And there goes my light again. Okay, I have my Harper's 1885 cut and ready to go on. I'm going to do the ends first. Okay, I got all the sides done. I can't turn it to show you, so I'm going to let that dry and we'll go to the next phase. Okay, so for the next bit, I wanted some rusty wire and some rusty keys, and I put, that's the bigger wire. I'm going to put this smaller wire in, but let me get these little things out of here first. And that's for a different project. Is that a key? There's a little key, but it doesn't look that rusty. I didn't know what kind of finish was on these keys. Actually, these got sent to me by April. Thank you very much, April. Yeah, those are... they didn't do much. So I'm going to put that wire in there to get me some more thin wire. Basically, oh, sorry, this is vinegar, peroxide, and salt, and some salt. And there's no measurements. You just kind of do it and then throw your stuff in. And this wire was this wire, so you can see how black and grungy it turned it. It's so cool. So my idea was to have on these little bottles some wire twisted around the neck. Oh. And then holding a key, like with the key tying onto it. But these are not rusting. I think I'm just going to go ahead and spray paint these. So I'll have to do that outside, but I think that's what's going to have to happen. All right, I figured while I'm waiting for everything else to dry, I might as well go ahead and put the texture paste on the top. And I decided to use some crackle paste. I thought maybe it could give it an extra texture. So just see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. I think it looks good. I'm gonna let it dry and we'll see if it crackles. Okay, so I've put it back on my assemblage. I actually found the all the old Harper's Bazaars that I knew I had a huge stack of, and I found them, so yay. So right now what I want to do is I want to decorate these bottles, and basically I want to add a key, a little tiny key, and some wire to each bottle. And I've rusted the wire, but then I also just took it and spray painted it and then flipped it and spray painted again, so it's a little bit crusty up close. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some crust on it. I could probably do more, but I think it's fine. And then the keys, my friend April sent these to me, but I think they came from Temu. But they have some kind of finish on them, so they wouldn't rust in the vinegar and peroxide and salt mixture. So I just spray painted them black, and I think they look fine, flat black. And so basically I've got this piece of wire, and I want to see how much I have. I've got 7 little bottles, so I don't know how much is a good amount for this. Is that long good enough? That might be good enough. Let's just see what that does for me. Yeah, so I think that'll work really cool. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I've got all the keys on my little bottles. And I think they look just so cool. And then one has a little heart lock on it. And so those will get put in here. Something like that. Oh, so cool. And you can see the texture paste has crackled here. So I need to dye that next. All right, so I'm gonna do my crackle. I wanna paint this crackle or dye it. And I'm gonna use my Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. These work so well on paper. I think I'm gonna try, let's see, a combination of wild honey and frayed burlap. I wish that I had the vintage photo one, but I don't. Oh, that's kind of a cool color though. So maybe I'll just kind of color on with this one. Lightly. Okay, so I've got that, and then I'm just gonna come back in. Yeah, I think that'll pick up the picture nicely. A little warmth with the, what is this called? Wild honey. I actually don't mind the crackle paste on its own. I mean, I think that's, the white is a good color, but it's fun to add some other colors just to keep it interesting. Okay, now let's see what happens when we activate it with water. Yeah. Oh gosh, I love these pencils so much. They're so cool. And what I'm hoping is some of this will get down in the crevices and cracks of the crackle and give us a little more view of that texture. Oh, a little more water, I think, does that trick. We just keep going until the pencil marks are erased. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. I think that looks good. I don't know, can I come back with more? Yeah. Okay, I don't want to fiddle with it too much. You know, I have that tendency. So we're gonna leave it there. I think that looks cool. We'll let that dry. And then I do want to seal this with some more Mod Podge. Okay, I learned a lesson using these bottles before. I think it's gonna be better to glue the top on before I put it in the assemblage, because it just will become fiddly. And these are, I mean, that leaves no wiggle room for my big fingers. So I'm just gonna glue the tops on, and I've got some marbles for that. Oh, and yes, these rooks. I want to do something with these rooks for this piece. I was thinking of mounting them on the top on each side to give it sort of a like castle-y look. And these are just plastic, so I think I'll coat these with some, maybe I'll texture some Mod Podge just to keep it light, and I'll texture some Mod Podge and then paint them a flat black. I think would go nicely. Okay, so but these are what I'm gonna put on top of these. It's just a glass marble, but I think that finishes it off nicely. And for that, we're gonna use some Gorilla Clear Grip. And just gonna make a little ring of the glue and then put it in there. Just kind of rotate it around and make sure that that glue is touching the ball on all sides. Cool. Okay, I want to actually add some vintage photo to this color. It's drying a little more yellow, and that's probably because I put the wild honey in there. If I had stayed with the frayed burlap, it probably would have been fine. But I think it can be cool to add just a little more. So here's some Distress Oxide vintage photo, and I'm just gonna put some water in it. And then, yes. Okay. That really brings out the crackling. All right. So yeah, that tones that yellow down. It still looks a little yellow, but the warmth of this vintage photo is good. Cool. And actually, while I'm here, I think I want to put this photograph on the back of the piece just as a little addition, but I do want to age it down a little bit and sort of sepia tone it. These all have that nice warm sepia tone, so I'm just going to see if I can do that with this vintage photo wash while I have it. It will not stick to that. Okay. So let's see if we can, if I sand it. So sand it a bit. And then let's see. Not really, just a tiny bit. I might need to go to an alcohol ink for this. So I have alcohol ink in sepia color, and I really don't want much because this stuff is potent. Oh, and I put 2 drops, which I think will be way too much. Let's load the brush with water. A lot of water. I guess I should have used alcohol with the alcohol ink, but what you gonna do? Okay, let's try this. Okay, I think that's, well, it's done something. Maybe. Where's my alcohol? Is this alcohol? Yep, I just used the sprayer on something else though. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so alcohol ink and alcohol, no water. Okay, that's what I need. And I think that gets it where I want it to be. And then it sort of blends in with this vintage papers. Cool. All right, I quickly want to texture my little rooks here, and I've mostly sanded them off. They're just plastic, but I want to make them look and feel more substantial. I think they'll be fine once we do it. So I'm gonna make a little textured glue kind of, and this is just Mod Podge matte. Okay, Mod Podge matte, and I won't need much, so just a couple of brushfuls, I think. And then I've got some baking soda, and ooh, what can I lift it out with? How about that? Oh my gosh, this looks like I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna put, well, that much baking soda and just mix it up, and it'll give me a little bit of a gritty texture. Maybe just a little bit more. All right, that should be good. Now I'm just gonna, oh, you know what? I need a rig for these. How about this? Okay, come on. Will those stay on there? Do I need to tape them or anything? Let's just coat these liberally. And I don't mind if some of the detail gets obscured. I think that kind of adds an aged quality to it. Up. Rook down, rook down. Get back on there. Maybe I should press it for just a second. Okay, leave it alone. You know what? Let's just try to make it a little easier. masking tape on there. And then that should hold it in place. Maybe. I'm gonna leave it at that. I can futz with it all day long. So we'll let those dry, and then I'll need to spray paint those flat black. We're almost there. Okay, so I had an idea to wrap my assemblage here with some sari silk. Okay, and I've got this sari silk ribbon. Let's use this piece. You know, it comes in skeins like this. I use it for a ton of stuff. I love it. It's got that nice frayed edge. But I thought it'd be nice for this project if it were flat against the box. Let's see. Oh, of course it's all wrinkled up. Sort of like that, with just the frayed edges, just, yeah, something like that. I don't have an iron. So I was trying to think of how I could iron this, and I thought of an idea, which was if I wet it, okay, get it all wet, and then flatten it out. Originally, I thought I would try to like take a jar and run it across the jar with my heat gun, blasting it. But then I realized I could really just straighten it with my fingers and get it pretty flat and just wrap it around the jar, and I can let it dry this way. So it's an ironless iron. I might could blast this with the heat gun, but I think it might retain its shape better. I don't know if it dries naturally. And, you know, it has all these little threads and stuff, so you kind of have to mess with it, but get the idea. Come on. This piece is longer than I thought it was. I just want to make sure that all the frays go out to the edge and not be tucked under. There we go. I'm sure I'll need this again. I already did my piece for the for this box, and it's drying here, happily drying. Ooh, oh, see that? Yeah, already dry and nice and smooth. I love it. And my thought is I'm gonna run a very thin layer of glue along the box. I think I'll probably use Gorilla Glue so it won't be so wet, and then I'll apply that. But then I'll also have this little piece drying in the meantime that I can use to wrap a smaller box if I want to. Cool. All right, my ribbon is dry, my sari silk, and I want to apply it to the box. And I'm thinking now I'm just going to do a thin layer of Mod Podge. Let's see, maybe I should get it out of the cap. Just a really thin layer. And do I trust myself to do a straight line? Not really, but I can use the text to help me make a straight line. And I'm just gonna try to brush out all that extra and get it just very, very thin so that I can put this on here and it won't kind of clog through. It'll just adhere it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Ah. No, don't do that. Do not do that. Okay, let's go to this side. really good. Okay, let's do this side first. Oops, sorry, my hand was in the way there. Awkward angles. Okay. I should wait to do that, pull those, because I should just clip them off, not pull them. Should know that by now. All right, and let's see where they meet up. Maybe I'll just cut it in the middle. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then just a faint little line. And I don't think I'll worry about fraying that or anything, but I will seal it a little bit extra with Mod Podge on the bottom. Okay, I think that just adds a little extra detail to the piece. Flatten out any bubbles. See if I have any other bubbles. Yeah, I really like that. Okay. All right, I'm ready to glue in my bottles, and I've lined them up. I've figured out which keys I want to go where, and a pleasing manner. And I've decided to put the one with the heart lock over the mother in the middle. I think that'll be nice. And oh, before I put glue on, I want to look at each bottle, and there's a seam, because these are molded, not blown. And so there's a seam, and I just want to make sure that my seam is to the sides, so it'll allow for a clearer image through the bottle. Yeah, okay. And then I'm just going to blob. Okay, get off there, a little piece. Some Gorilla Clear Glue on the bottom. Get my strings out of the way, and then I'm just gonna set it in there. And there will be a little bit of wiggle room. Let's move these over here. Little bit of playtime with the Gorilla Glue. Okay, there's the seam, and I can just rotate that key and wire to the front. Okay. There's the seam. Yeah. There's a little bit of schmutz in this bottle, but I think it kind of adds to it. Ooh. Hold on, Gorilla Glue. Don't go jumping the gun. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. All right. And now I'm not sure if I'm going to add the rooks to it or not. I like the linearness of this, so maybe I'm going to play with it. Once I get them painted, I'll look at it and then decide. But this looks pretty good as is. I don't want to dump it over. And okay, just let that dry and we'll see if it's finished or not. Okay, I'm just coming in to check on my little rooks and they look pretty cool. I love the texture. If you can see that, it has like a little grit to it. I love adding baking soda to glue or paint. It just gives an extra dimension. So I'm gonna spray paint these and see what happens, but I really think I'm not gonna end up using them on here. Now that I've put the ribbon on, let me pull that tape out. Now that I put the ribbon on, it doesn't make sense to have the rooks on top of the ribbon. It's sort of like, if it's part of the assemblage, or part of the structure, then why would a ribbon be under it? Although it is kind of cool in these corners. But also, I think it just takes away from the linearness of this. Like, I just like that clean look. So, but I'm gonna paint them anyway, and I can use them on something else, but I just wanna see how they turn out. I turned off my video before I was gonna show you this other thing. Whenever I'm painting something small like this, when I'm spray painting, I use these little shish kebab skewers and basically just attach a ball of tape or whatever to the shish kebab skewer and then poke it up in there. And now I can rotate this as I spray with my spray can, and then I just actually stick them into plants outside and let them dry, so they're free and clear. All right, so my little rooks have dried and they just look so good. Can you see? I hope you can see the texture and kind of the almost patina, metal, rusty kind of buildup on them. So they just don't look new. And I'm just gonna pull that out. I just think they look really good. So do they belong on this assemblage? And I have to say, I don't think they do. I think it takes away from it if you're looking at it. They don't make sense anymore. For some reason, I thought it was gonna have like a bit of a castle feel or something. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Almost like, how sometimes prisons look like castles. It's kind of what I had in mind, old prisons. But I don't think they make sense here. So I think this is finished. So here's the finished piece, saving time. I'm really happy with how this one came out. I love the sari silk ribbon around it with that, just a little bit of texture coming to it. A little bit of staining. I don't know if I did that or if it was already on there. And then all the photos through the bottles with our black wire and black painted keys. Oh, that one's wiggling. I guess it's not quite dry yet. I might need a little more glue in there. And then the letters in the background, and then the crackle finish on the front. I think it just looks really good. I think it's very, very nice. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. From Funk and Dazzles, this is J-Star saying have a great day and keep creating.